go? Anna, you see my roof? Ugh, I'm gonna have to make a jolly now, aren't I? Okay. Hello, I'm Jake, and welcome back to a new video on my automotive channel. Yes, that's right. Behind me here is my 1972 Fiat 500 Al. And in this video today, I'm going to give you all the updates, the latest progress, where we are at, and yeah, just go around what needs doing, basically. So, just in case you've missed it, I'm turning the Fiat 500 into a jolly because the roof was very rotten. No one did steal it, but my dad did get a bit carried away whilst I was out, and whilst he was welding the frame in, he thought he cut the roof off as well. So unfortunately, I don't have any footage of that. However, here is some footage of the last 72 hours of working on this classic Fiat 500. Okay, so as you can see there, my dad's been very busy helping cutting this car to pieces to get rid of all the panels that we need to replace, as well as chopping the back end of the car and the sides to get the jolly look. Now, I must just clarify that I can't do any of the welding or use power tools on the car because of my health. I've mentioned this before. I have a pacemaker and mechanical valves. So welding is a big no-no for me. So whenever there's welding going on in the garage on the car, unfortunately, I won't be in the garage. I will probably be out in the garden watching through the window, but I will always make sure I set a camera up and just show my brother and dad the basics just so they can record it. So we're at the back end here. In my eyes, the most important part of the build, because the entire look and design has got to be perfect around this area. So as you've seen in the couple of clips I put up in the video of the car being cut up, we've not gone right down to where the final cut will be because we want to leave ourselves some clearance. And there's a couple of different ways you can do this. Some people keep the back end sloped like this with the vent still on the back, or you can go completely flat, or you can go flat with a basket area, with the bars going up for your top roof and everything. But I'm going with just a flat back end with a custom grille piece here to allow airflow into the engine, because down here you have an hole and that sucks the cold air in to the engine, to the fan, keep the engine cool. So it's very important that I'm gonna put a vent on here. But yeah, this is the most important part because the rear seats are gonna be in there, and then obviously you'll have your boot. I'm going to have a basket on the boot anyway, because I think on any classic Fiat 500, having that accessory of a boot rack with a little basket on it sets the car off really nicely. And I had one on my Yugo, my 1970 Fiat 500. So that's very important. But to get this all cut off yesterday was a massive step forward, because now I can start planning out, we can plan out how we're going to do it. But we got to talk about strengthening up the chassis before we do anything else. So, sorry for the wobbly camera, but this is the best way to show it. Let's go around to the whiteboard. So, see here, this is a little diagram of what the jolly could possibly look like. Not painted, obviously. But down here, obviously, the jolly doesn't have doors. So you got to strengthen up the sides. Because the roof is gone, you've got nothing supporting the car up here. So if you don't strengthen up there, your car's just going to bend in the middle and it'll look not very good. And it definitely won't drive that good. So you got to strengthen up the chassis. Now, what we've done is what everyone does when they do work on any car with serious rust is you put a frame in to stop the car bending anyway, because you're going to be cutting parts out of the car. Sometimes not completely like we have, like taking the roof off, but it's something you should always do, because if you was to take the floor out now, you're weakening the chassis, the shell of the car, and it can just fold up on itself. And you don't want that, because that means that's it really. Unless you're a really, really good mechanic, that would be it. So we've put this frame in here. And now the next thing is to actually weld this up here. So obviously, like I said, we're not having doors. You don't have doors on a Jolly. So what you do is put a bar across here to this side, and then lift. Basically what you're doing is raising your sill up to about here. So you're stepping in and out of the car up to about seat height. So wherever the seats come to, that's basically where your sill will come to. So that'd be strengthened up across there, both sides, obviously. And then in the inside of the rear here, there will also be strengthening. So there'd be a bar going upwards like that, and to, on the opposite side, this piece here. Don't know how well that shows up. And then what we're going to do is put a bar across from here, right down to that side. And at the same time, for a little bit more strengthening, we're also going to put one across here to there. Not that it really needs it, but I think that'll help quite a bit. And obviously where the boot lid latches onto, this needs replacing anyway. So yeah, we'll put something in there to help with that. And there's that vent I told you about just now, where we're going to have being sucked into the engine. And obviously our engine came out quite a while ago. So we're strengthening that all up. That's going to make the car a lot stronger. There are so many different ways you can do these Jollies, different strengthening techniques and everything, which we are still looking at, but that's basically what we got to do for now, is add that. But like I said, there's so many different techniques. It just depends which one we go with in the end. But our main goal is to make sure the car is completely safe and strong enough. We don't want the car to fold up on itself or anything like that. Now, the car previously has had quite a bit of welding. This entire plate here has been welded on top of the original firewall plate, which is not great. So that's going to have to be sorted out. There's also a massive hole here. We're also going to have to re-tackle that. It's had welding previously on the floors over there. That's all got to be sorted, because once again, they welded over the top of the old floors. So that needs sorting out. But let's go around to the front end and take a look at where we got to here. So the front end has completely been taken off now, including both wings. I've also sorted the wiring loom out. It's all part up there, but that's ready to be removed. So this is where we are at here. Now, we didn't find too many unwanted parts to repair. Obviously, whenever you strip a classic car, especially one that needs restoration, you're always going to find stuff you don't like. That was already there. We could see that from the top of the wing. But these inner arches, these are really good. This one is anyway. A bit down there, but that's actually a bit of the original wing stuck on the bottom. However, this side will need replacing, which I do have that already. I always knew that one needed replacing, so we got one of them. We also have both wings and the front end. Now, I'm guessing the original panel is behind this piece here, going from the floor repairs that's been done previously. So that might have to all be chopped and done. But when we get there, we'll get there. I think for now, we're going to focus on sorting these little bits out, like this. And like here, sort obviously this inner arch out, this side, we'll get that sorted. But there's something I do have to show you that we found on both sills. So this piece here, this is being repaired before, and the amount of filler that was on this, oh my god, I've never seen so much filler. It's in here somewhere. There you go. It was just, yeah, the car's full of filler. We'll get to the back in a minute. But this has been welded before and then it's gone again. Most common place for a classic Fiat 500 to rust is in this general area. So obviously that's got to be all cut back and everything. Now it has had inner seals done before, both sides. So I'm guessing they repaired some of the damage, and then like you can see here, the floors had a repair before. Again, they're very common for going here. Most cars usually are, especially from the like old classic 70s, 80s and that. They commonly go here. The other side is a little bit worse because there's actually no frame there. It's completely gone. So that does leave us with a bit of a problem. Because that needs sorting pretty much straight away. I think that could be one of the first things we actually weld on the car. Also, I must just talk about this frame. So I recently bought some doors for this car before I was going to turn it into a Jolly. And the guy, absolutely lovely, showed me around the Fiat 500s he's working on. He restores them. And he had this frame on one of them and he said, look, I got one for sale if you're interested. Now, this frame was not that expensive and already is out us in so many ways. It really has. Now, this frame allows you to roll the car as well. So when we are ready to tackle the underside of the car, we can flip the car on its side, but we want to make sure the entire shell is completely strengthened before we even do that, and sort obviously the sill areas out. But then we can roll this car on this frame. You basically roll the entire frame over onto its side. And then there's two pillars either side, so he lies flat on the floor, which is going to make life a lot easier. Let's talk about the rears just a bit. So that's all filler. I've gone back as much as I wanted to on that. Now, I don't think it's the case there's loads of rust behind that. I think it's the case of it's being hit and out of repair. Both are the same either side. Now, if I thought there was a lot of rust behind that, I'd expect it more down this area. And I've gone through straight to metal there, and that seems fine. But it has gone here. So we got to cut this out anyway. I got those replacement parts. But yeah, so both sides are pretty much the same. However, when removing the wishbones, we did come across this up here, and that's completely gone. So that's quite bad. So we're going to have to work on that as well. But the underside of the car is very good, apart from this area here and a couple of holes in the floor. Well, there we have it, guys. That's the latest update on my 72 Fiat 500. And yeah, turn it into a Jolly. It's going to be a fun project. It's not going to be done overnight. However, I am trying to work on it as much as I can, as I'm due my surgery later this year, just a couple of months away. So I'm trying to get as much done as possible, even if it's just scraping away all the dirt and grime that's built up in the engine bay. Every day I'm in here doing something with the car. But I want to thank everyone for supporting me, supporting this project. And if you haven't already, please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. And hopefully I can bring you an update on this car in a couple of weeks, and there'll be hopefully quite a bit done. So yeah, I'll see you all soon. Bye until next time.